systems. And what I mean by that is when you are putting power to a motor in an industrial process, by looking at the frequency characteristics of that motor, you can determine the health of the process. It's a great way to not have to put a probe inside of the process. All you have to do is watch the motor and infer what the process is doing. If I have a $3 chip inside of this, I can do a wealth of interesting things. For example, when you turn on a hairdryer, that's a series wound motor that has a 1800 watt heater attached to it. The signal for that is totally easy to spot. If I were to look at that in the Fourier transform domain, I could infer that at 5 o'clock in the morning or so, you turned on a dryer for 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 4 minutes, some number. When you turn on the fan in your bathroom, that is a fractional horsepower induction motor with a shaded pole start. Okay, again, fairly easy to spot. And the smart meter could therefore say, gee, at about 6:02 in the morning or 3 in the morning or whenever, you turned on the fan in your bathroom. Or here's a woman enjoying a vibrator. That is a DC motor with a variable speed drive and possibly a switching power supply. Okay, this is easily discernible, okay, from these other appliances. This woman turned it on for 20 minutes at 9 p.m. at night, okay? This meter is fully capable of keeping all of this information in its memory. PG&E hasn't told us whether they're doing this or not, but what they have told us is the software inside of a smart meter is proprietary. That means we don't get to know. Thank you so much. I doubt if that's a coincidence. A.C. Nielsen collaborated with MIT in 1992, and they said, barcodes are great. That tells us what you buy. Customer cards are great. They tell us who bought the stuff. But what they also said was, what is missing in our marketing strategy is when, where, and how usage. And they were presenting this to MIT saying, this is a problem. We do not know when, where, and how our products are being bought, how they're being used. If the smart meter supplies this information, I assert that this has an extraordinary amount of marketing value. This isn't a trivial bit of information that we can discount. There are people with a lot of money who want to know this. And PG&E is asserting, well, we're not doing it. But by the way, all the stuff that goes on inside of the meter is top secret. Here is, and if you think that's bad, they're just getting warmed up. Here is graphics from the industry itself talking about this link inside of the house. Smart meters talk directly to smart-enabled devices. It's like a Bluetooth, okay? And the CPUC has already committed to mandating that all appliances sold in California are smart-enabled, which means they will intelligently talk to your smart meter over what is something like a Bluetooth link. So that means when you're in the, here they are enjoying their smart meter in the entertainment room, it will be telling us devices that are on, what they're doing. Here's mom and daughter in the kitchen. Here they are preparing a healthy snack. And here we have where they're enjoying their smart meter in the bedroom. This is right out of their literature. Bold-faced. They're telling us this is the information that this meter will be privy to, far more detailed information than it is inferring from its own digital signal processing capabilities. We do not have a block diagram of that meter. We don't have the software that's used, and they are only alluding to the data that is being collected. In the meeting that I had with him, they described the data that they were collecting, but they did not allude to the fact that because this is a digital signal processing device, it can infer a great deal more. In addition to that data stream, which is currently uncontrolled. They're not talking about it. There's no law against them taking it based on how they're qualifying these devices legally. And in addition to that gaping hole in security, UC Berkeley professors agree that the security they're using just on the devices as they're currently described by PG&E, the security is insufficient, which means the data that they're collecting is like easy to hack and easy to broadcast to the rest of the world. The Fourth Amendment to the Constitution says, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, and papers shall not be abridged. This thing is directly looking at the interior of your house if it collects this sort of information. This I have not given permission to PG&E to do, as no one in this room has, because they have not even asked for that permission. They are assuming that this meter is identical to the meter that they currently have a utility easement for. Okay? But the current meter, it sits on the side of the house, and I could care less if somebody walks up and looks at the numbers. Go ahead. Look at my neighbors. Have a blast. But I do not want this thing giving a diary of the internal activities in my home to the highest bidder. I'm in a court suit with my health insurance provider saying, listen here, you were supposed to cover my kidney disease. What's wrong? They stand in court and say, Your Honor, look at this information showing that this person was up in the middle of the night for months and months before they ever contracted with us for health insurance. They didn't disclose this to us. They're being ingenuine. And you can imagine the ramifications of this if this is being sold to the highest bidder. The CPUC's charter indicates that they are dedicated to having safe and reliable equipment. I doubt if that is supported by how this, by the preceding. TURN, the Utility Reform Network, agrees when they are basically providing a contrary opinion to the release of the smart meter equipment. I'm not doing too bad. They said that PG&E's business case for the analysis is overly optimistic. Like, you're going to get $40 a year, and you're going to do much for that? That's basically dinner and a movie. The demand response forecast is overly optimistic. They say meter reading could be accomplished with a less comprehensive system. Enough said. The action plan, I don't have one. Clearly, health is a problem. Clearly, privacy is a problem. But health is governed by two federal acts that are fairly onerous. Tobacco was legal for decades before we finally started turning the tide, reducing how much advertising they could do, requiring packaging labeling. We are in the same situation with electromagnetic sensitivity, that it's going to be a good 20 years before the data is in, before it's published in peer-reviewed journals. We've already got data that says there are health impacts, but the level of proof that's required by federal agencies, that's going to take longer to develop. So we're in a case of buyer beware.